Hey guys, I thought I'd follow up on the episode 2 of the sub bass, and when I was talking about sweet spots, I was talking about how to make sure that you're listening out to where it's sitting right. The sub is sitting right when you're putting saturation on it, and that's what I do. I put saturation onto my basses to help give it that warmth, give it that warm tube saturation. Now, I was saying to everybody about the club toilets test, which a lot of people found quite amusing. It's when you're starting out, learning your environment is key. Whether you're working in headphones, whether you're working in a treated room, there's lots of people out there that can't afford to treat their studios. They can't afford to have a room in their house that's fully treated like that and be able to bang out the music and write music like that, so they have to work in headphones, or they've got enough treatment in there and they're in quite a small room. But I mean, don't get me wrong, there are producers out there that have learned their environment without it being treated, but they've learned how to work with using spectrum analyzers, using their reference headphones, and they've learned their environment without it being treated. But I can't stress enough, for me personally, a treated room is, you're going to find it a lot quicker, but you're going to find it a lot easier to be able to get your tracks sitting right in the low end. And look, some of the best studios in the world are treated, aren't they? It's a bit of a no-brainer, but a lot of people out there don't have that luxury. So having those little tests when you're learning your environment, doing little tests like that, going outside and having listened to your music. But I can't stress enough as well is that use a reference track. A lot of people that I do speak to, and I say, do you use reference tracks? They say, well, no, I don't use reference tracks. How do you use a reference track? Well, you create an audio channel at the top of your arrangement, like you can see here, and you put a track in there. And set it to the right level so you've got a good balance between what you're making, because obviously you're working on a lower level when you're writing your music. So you're going to need to bring that track down the levels. But what you're listening out for is how that track is sitting in the mix, and then you reference it. You reference the low ends, reference the percussion, reference the balances. But in this specific instance, we're going to listen to the low end and how the low end is sitting in the mix. So there's other people out there that don't have treated rooms will also been using. And I've been working with a lot of people artists that have actually decided to come back into making music, and they don't have the environment. And then they've used sonar works as well. That's another thing that people out there use to try and to get the balance right in their room, because they don't know the environment. But I can't stress enough, learning your environment is key. I've learned how a bass lines and the low end sits right in a mix in the studio. Another way of doing it, if you can't do the closed door effect, the club toilets test, then try this. So what you do is listen out for the low end in your mix. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a spectrum analyzer. We're going to put it onto the master channel. We are going to get an EQ onto the master channel. We are then going to grab everything. We're going to do a high cut, and we're going to cut off everything from around about 100 hertz, 80 hertz, around about that area, and listen and look at what's going on. So let's just try that now. So I'm going to solo that. Sorry, I've a tendency of doing that. Turn the speakers down. Listen to what's going on, and look. I've got a good peak on my kick, and I can hear as well, and I can see straight after. I've got a nice sub, got a nice low end sitting there, and I can hear that it's sounding right. I can see that it's sitting right. And now I'm going to put on the reference track. Now this is a fully mastered track that's playing in the background, and I can hear again, and you can see it, you can hear it. It's sitting right in the mix. Back to the track. back to the reference. So that's another way of looking at it, is the visual aspect, and also doing the club toilets test, but without actually whacking out your music if you can't, and closing the door and checking it that way. Cheers, guys. Later on this week, it'll be mid-basses. Thanks for watching.